In this video, we'll create a modal dialog using HeadlessUI and Inertiajs that opens when we click on a card item. The modal will have a form we can use to make changes to the card and a button to delete the card. Now, during the video, there are some bits that could be improved, polished, made shorter, sweeter, etc., but our main focus will be on showing and closing the dialog. I will cover the unpolished bits in a couple of tiny tip videos later on, so make sure you subscribe, click the bell button, and you'll be notified when those videos drop as well. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is create a new component for the card model. I'll go to Resources, JS, Pages, Boards, create a new file called card list item model.view. And here I will paste in a slightly modified version of the default HeadlessUI dialog. There is no difference functional-wise. I just aligned mine to the top, added some vertical padding, made it a bit wider, and included a form with two fields, one for the card title and another one for the card description. And we also have a section for actions, which is just a button to delete the card. So functional-wise, this model doesn't do anything, it's just some boilerplate I'll use to save you some time. Now what should happen is when we click on a card item, the model should appear and allow us to make changes to the card. So the model should be included on the board's show page component. So let's open that component. And we'll scroll down inside the authenticated layout and use the card list item model. Let's import it. And here it is on the page. Back to the model component, we currently have an isOpen reactive value set to true, and that controls whether or not our model is shown. If we click on the cancel button or outside the model, the close model function will be called, which will set isOpen to false and hide our model. Now what we want to do is open the model when the card is loaded. To load a card on the board's show page, we'll need to go to our web routes file and add an optional card parameter. So here we'll add card and question mark to make it optional. Then we can go inside the controller and load the card using route model binding. And since the route parameter is optional, this card may also be null. And let's return it to our board show as a prop. I'll go inside the component and accept it. And now if we go in the browser, refresh, open the View DevTools, we'll see that we indeed have the card prop, which is null, but that's because we haven't loaded any cards. But as soon as I pass an ID as a parameter, we sure enough load the card with an ID of 2. Now what we can do is use the presence of this card prop to tell the model whether it should be opened or not. So we'll go to our show page and pass the card as a prop to the model. Inside the model component, we'll accept the card prop, so we'll do const props equals define props, and we'll have card, which is an object. And then here, where we define isOpen as ref of true, we'll use a computed value that will return a boolean checking whether or not the card prop is present. So we'll do function, and then to convert the card to a boolean, we'll use bang bang props card. Let's make sure we import the computed function. And now if we go in the browser and refresh, the model stays closed. That's because there is no card prop, because we don't have a card parameter. But as soon as we add one, the model opens because we indeed have a card prop. Now to close the model, we can't just set isOpen to false, because isOpen is now a computed value. And we also cannot set props card to null, because that goes against Vue's reactivity rules. What we can do is navigate to the board show page without passing the card parameter. So here we'll do inertia.get route boards show, and we'll need to pass the board ID, which we can get from the card prop. And now if we go in the browser, refresh, load the card, the model opens, click cancel, it works, but the model is closed abruptly. That's because the Inertia GET request forces a fresh page component instance, clearing out our local state. so the model doesn't have the time to close smoothly. What we can do is set preserve state to true. So here we'll pass an object for the query parameters and another object which will be the inertia options, and we'll set preserve state to true. And now if we try that again, so refresh, load the card, click outside, the model is closed smoothly. Now let's open the card list component to turn this into an inertia link that opens the model. So I'll go to card list item, and here we have the inertia link. Let's set this ref to route board boards show, and we'll pass the board, which is card board ID, and card, which is card ID. So now if I refresh, click on a card list item, the model opens. However, if I scroll down and click on a card list item, the card list scroll is reset. That's because the state is refreshed and our card list re-renders. To fix this, we can add preserve state here, save, close the model, refresh, scroll down the list, click on an item, and the list preserved its position. Moving on, let's add the inertia form to edit the card. So I'll close this, go to the card model, and here we'll have const form equals use form, and we'll have title, which will be props card, and I'll use optional chaining because card might be null, title, and description. Let's go ahead and add the vModels. So we'll have one here, vModel form title, and another one here for the description. And now if I go in the browser and refresh, click on a card list item, the form is empty. The reason why it's empty is because our state is preserved due to the inertia link in the card item having the preserve state attribute. So when the card is loaded, our local form state doesn't change, so there's nothing updating this form. What we need to do is watch the card prop and update the form. So here I'll add a watcher for props card, and we'll receive the card. And if indeed the card is present, we'll update the form title and description. Let's make sure we import the watch function. Go in the browser, refresh, close the card, open another one, and here it is. Now let's go ahead and continue with the submit action. So we'll go here to the form and say submit, prevent, on submit. Let's add the function. Let's remove this open model function because we don't need it. And here we'll take the form and make a put request to route cards update, and we'll pass the card ID. Save, and we already have this cards update route. Here it is right here, but if we go to the controller action, we'll see that we only update the title. So let's add the description as well. But we only want to update the description if the request has it. So here we'll do request has description, then grab the value, otherwise set card description. The reason we're doing this is because we are using the update action with two forms. We have this inline editable form here, where we only edit the title, and we also have the card model. Let's make some changes. Hit save card, and it probably worked because if I refresh, the form contains the changes, but the reason why the model stayed open is because this update function basically redirects back. And in our case, back means back to the card page. So what we want to do is redirect back to the board page without the card ID. So here, what we could do is check for a redirect URL parameter. So if request has redirect URL, then return redirect to that request redirect URL. Of course, this also means that we need to add redirect URL to our card form. So we'll go to our card model, and here we'll add redirect URL, which will be /boards/props card optional chaining board ID. And of course, we also need to do that here. And I think we're good to go. So now if I say test, and click save card, we are redirected back to the board show page without any card parameters. Let's do that again. Save, and here it is. Finally, let's also take care of the delete action. So I'll go down here and we'll have ref, which will be /boards/card ID. And we also need to specify the method, which will be delete. Let's go ahead and add the endpoint. We'll have route delete card/card, and we'll call the destroy action. Let's add the destroy method. We'll receive the card delete, and then we need to return redirect, and we won't be redirecting back because back is a modal. We'll be redirecting to the route, which is boards show board, and we'll get the board ID from the card. Save, refresh, delete, and the delete method is not supported for this route. Let's check it out. Oh, it's card/card ID. Refresh again, open the first item, delete card, and it works. That was it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, share it, subscribe, click the bell button, all that good stuff. Bye!